welcome to our weekly QPR Preview Show. We're in a happy mood once again as QPR stayed top of the league after winning against Wigan last Saturday. Although Burnley have knocked us down to second in midweek, but they have played a game more. The back-to-back home wins for QPR are now followed up with back-to-back away matches that are both live on Sky in the UK. We'll look ahead to those matches against Birmingham and Norwich shortly, but we can't start without considering that this time last week we were sat here thinking whether Michael Beale was going to leave or not. He's still very much here and clearly has high hopes for the season. A potentially massive moment for QPR, Dave.
Yeah, it was a surprise. I mean, I think we just finished recording saying he's off, and then he said he was staying. I was surprised, to be honest. I thought he would take the opportunity, but I'm really pleased he stayed, and I think he's given everyone a massive boost. You only to see the atmosphere of the weekend. I think everyone's like, oh, hang on, we might be all right now. And then for him to so quickly say, I'm not going to Villa either, this is it for now. He's kind of killed all the rumours dead, hasn't he, with what he said over the weekend. So I think it's a massive positive for us.
Yeah, with the quotes he was coming out with, he can't really leave now, probably in the next few months even, can he? He's really nailed his flag to the post, so to speak. He must the positive for us is he really must have belief, because otherwise he'd go. If he didn't think he was going to the QPR with us or had a chance, he would have left, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I wonder how much Wednesday's performance had an effect on him, because they were so good against Cardiff, and it was when they were on top of the league, and maybe he was like, oh, hang on, this is difficult to walk away from here. We have got a chance this year. And there's no guarantee, we said there was no guarantee Wolves are going to stay up if he goes there. He's a good coach and a good manager, but Wolves looking a bit of a state to me, and that's a difficult job, and he could quickly find himself out of a job and back being a number two by the end of the season if he took the jump. So he's probably done the right thing. I think he'll learn a lot staying at QPR, and he'll be in a better place end of the season.
Yeah, I like we did touch on it last week, but I feel like he can only enhance his reputation at QPR. Whereas, like you're saying there, Wolves, he could lose the first six and he'd be back out of a job again, wouldn't he? He would have had to hit the ground running, and it was no guarantee. But he's here, we're thankful, and we're glad we were wrong when we said that he was going to go. Quickly looking back on that Wigan match, a gritty win. We saw a different side to the team, and that in itself bodes well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I was giving it large in the pub that we were going to win 4-0 and it was all going to be glorious, but it wasn't. It was a very hard game. I thought Wigan were excellent. It's probably one of the best sides I've seen at our place this year. They really gave us a game, and it was a really end-to-end game for a lot of it. We never seemed to get control of it, I didn't think at all. And then last 20 minutes, there was a lot of panic when there, I think, from the crowd and from the team. They were like, right, let's just hold on to what we've got. And it was a nervy end. And, they did well to come through it. It's another win without Willock in the side. You can't really argue with that. I mean, it would have been nice to win more comfortably, but a win's a win, isn't it?
Yeah, it felt like one of those matches where if we could get a third goal, it was game over. But where 2-1 is the most dangerous scoreline in football, isn't it? We were lucky to get over the line, and I think you could tell that Beale just wanted to get home to bed. He looked jaded at the end and very glad the week and the match were over, didn't he?
Yeah, I did think second half we played our league position a bit. Everyone seems to be worried about, if they equalise, we're not going to be top anymore. And I thought the players were the same, rather than just playing on and getting that third goal. Very early, they seemed to be in a bit of panic mode, and there was a lot of rush clearances and giving the ball away. I just wonder if being top played on their mind a little bit. And it's something they're going to have to get used to, because last year when we was around the playoffs, they said they imploded near the end, didn't they? Maybe that was an issue then.
Yeah, you're making a really good point. And at the end of the day, first or second, it doesn't matter, does it? Just get the wins and keep ticking along. And the crowd seem to want to be able to sing we're top of the league, which is we're not been in that position for years, but it doesn't matter that much, does it? The results are more important.
No, it's too early really to worry about being top or second or whatever.
Yeah. Birmingham then on Friday night. It's a strange history between the clubs when I was looking into this, because there's a period from 1997 to 2008 where there was 13 games against them where we didn't even win. But then since then, we've only lost 3 of the last 17, so we've got the upper hand in recent years. John Eustace is, of course, the big QPR link this week. He's doing a pretty decent job there, isn't he?
He is. I've been quite impressed with him. I mean, we all thought he'd do well. He did a good job with us, really, over the few years he was here. I say Birmingham away the last few years, it's been a guaranteed win, really, hasn't it? But I'm not sure it's going to be that easy this time. I think Eustace is doing a good job there. They look a much better side than they have the last few years. Very well organised, and they've done pretty well against sides around us. They drew with Burnley recently, didn't they? They've drawn with Sheffield United. a difficult team to beat.
Yeah, you're right. Drew with Burnley and Sheffield United, and obviously Burnley was at home, so that's the match we're going into now. And it's going to be a much harder match, I think, than some fans are going to expect. They're going to see where Birmingham are, see that we're near the top of the table, and think we're going to win. It's just not the case, is it? They're very hard to break down. They conceded less than a goal a game. That typical mid-table championship side, aren't they? Where 5 wins, 5 draws, 6 defeats. They're going to turn some teams over, probably be poor the other matches. A bit like we've been in recent years, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You know, you look at it, you think, oh, we should win there because they're down mid-table, aren't they? But I think they're in a bit of a false position considering who they've played. And they probably should be a little bit higher up. I've seen them a few times this season. I thought they've looked quite good, much better than previous years. And it's on Sky. It's a Friday. We ain't got a great record. I know we beat Reading the other week, but we haven't got a great record on Friday nights, have we?
No. Last week against Blackburn as well, they definitely should have got a draw. I know they were 2-0 down, but the Blackburn goalkeeper made 2 or 3 like world-class saves, and they were unlucky to lose. Like we just said, drawn with some other top teams. It's going to be a tough one. From the QPR perspective, maybe 2 question marks. They've said Stefan Johansson is back in, he's okay and things, but he did go off just before half-time last week. Do you think he's going to start, or do you maybe Dazelle, Amos, even Richards? He's got lots of options, hasn't he?
I wonder if do you think when he went off, we lost control of midfield a bit when he went off the other day. But I think given it's another 3-game week and it's, you're playing a side around us in the table on Wednesday, I wonder if Johansson will miss this one and play Wednesday. Maybe Amos will start again. I didn't think Amos and Dazelle did that well when they come on the other day, but it was a bit of a tricky game to come into. You've got to give big credit to Wigan, really, for that one. But I wouldn't be surprised if Amos or Dazelle start this one. I think it's probably a bit too early for Richards yet to be starting.
Yeah, I agree on Richards. Amos, we've said it multiple times, we both really like him, but he's not quite hit his stride. He's had like 20-minute spells where he's been good, and it's not his fault because he's in and out of the team at the moment, isn't he? But he's not quite the same as he was at the end of last season yet, is he?
You wonder maybe he might change it on Friday and go to bring Dickie in and go to a back 3 and just have the 2 in midfield. He might do that. He seems keen to get Dickie in. He brought him on again on Saturday, didn't he? But it's hard when you're playing a back 4, it's difficult to fit him in at the moment, given how well the other 2 are playing.
Yeah, I was wondering, because obviously we're going to look at Norwich in a minute. I wonder whether he's going to try the 3 at the back in midweek and try and surprise Norwich whilst that's the tough second game. The second question mark is about Chris Willock. Apparently he's ready or very nearly ready. Do you think he's going to start him?
No, I don't think he'll start. Too much of a risk. It hasn't been that long since. It's only been 3 weeks he's been out, hasn't he? I'll be surprised if he starts. And going forward, we've been quite good. I've quite liked seeing Dykes and Armstrong up front together, and they cause teams problems. And Chair's been good behind them. So I wouldn't rush Willock back. I'd have him on the bench, maybe give him 20 minutes second half.
Yeah, I thought exactly the same. Maybe if we take him in the squad, and then if we're struggling and it's 60, 70 minutes in and we're not ahead, maybe bring him on. But ideally, we'd be hoping he can get another few days rest, wouldn't we, before Norwich? Your thoughts overall ahead of this one? Can we get those 3 points to get back ahead of Burnley before the weekend's fixtures?
Definitely can. I mean, we're in good form. We're playing well. It's going to be tough, though. I think it's a very tricky one. Be a tight one. Wouldn't be surprised if it's a draw, but I'm hopeful we can nick a win there.
Yeah, I'm just hopeful that because we've got such a good record there in recent years, we can carry that into this one. But I imagine John Eustace would like to send a message to our owners, and he'll have them probably well up for this, won't he? Of course, after that, we have to travel to Norwich. Now, a real positive stat that we put out this week is that we've already played 6 of the other 9 teams in the top 10 away from home. This will make it 7. So on paper, we'll have home advantage in the second half of the season against most of the sides around us. A good positive day.
I think really positive, and we've done reasonably well against them all, haven't we? I think when you get to the running, you would rather play them at home than away. So yeah, it's good to get them out of the way early. A lot of these away games, isn't it?
Yeah, especially Norwich, because we've not won their last 7 trips. Last one there in 2008, and we've only won one of the last 7 against them, home or away. One of those teams I never feel we do that well against. They're, of course, one of the relegated sides as well. So is it a match where we can find out a lot more about where we're heading again this season?
Yeah, maybe. I've got a terrible record there. I think Norwich is the away ground I've been to the most over the years. I've never seen us win there, though. I've got an awful record there, and I'm going on Wednesday, so that's not a good sign for us, to be honest. But yeah, they haven't been quite the team I thought they would be this year. You think they would probably run away with it again, but it hasn't quite gone right for them. They're just outside the playoffs, aren't they? They have played a few of the top sides recently, so the league might be a bit distorted, but they're not quite as strong as I expected this year. But they've still got Premier League players, haven't they? I mean, they've got Pookie and Sargent, and they've got tons of quality. So it's going to be a tough game. But probably they don't look as daunting as they did a couple of years ago when they were in this division.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the squad as a whole perhaps isn't as strong. I mean, like you said there, Pookie and Sargent, they've got 14 goals already between them. But the rest of the squad, I don't think anyone else has got more than 2. Most are on 1. It seems that their squad isn't quite the same as what it was when they were back at this level. I mean, they're coming into this weekend 6 without a win, losing 4 of the last 5. That is, I think, the bottom of the form table, to be honest. Dean Smith's going to be under pressure, isn't he? Could even be gone potentially if they lose to Stoke at the weekend before we play them.
And if they don't get the weekend, because they've got to be expected to be top 2, haven't they? They're coming down. That's what their model is. They have a team that's too good for the Championship, and then they bank the money and come back down again. But if it doesn't look like they're going to go up this year, I wouldn't be surprised if they pull the trigger. Because we've said many times, it's a very open league this year. If you can fall away out of this quite quickly, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those where I don't know whether we're playing them at the right time or the wrong time. Based on the form, it's the right time. But if they then change manager before we play them, it could then be the wrong time, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could be, yeah. But like I said, Norwich is always difficult for us. And if we can get a point there, I think that's a good result for us.
Yeah. You're expecting Beale obviously to use the squad again, or maybe because this is a big clash, maybe some fewer changes this time.
Yeah, I would have thought. I think Willock, if he is fit, I think Willock will play in this one. I think he'll go with his strongest possible side for this one. So you'd expect Johansson to be back. But he does throw a few curveballs, doesn't he, Bill? None of us would have picked Armstrong as starting a week ago when we play Cardiff. So he likes to keep everyone on their toes, doesn't he? So you'd think it'd be what we would call the strongest side, but you never know with him.
No. Yeah, it's right. I mean, we'll know probably more about this match once you've seen the team for Birmingham. If he's already made a few changes, potentially we're going to see Kaka in one of the matches because Laird struggled the last time it was the 3-game week, didn't he? Like you said before, Amos or Dazelle. Does he then save Johansson for this one? You'd expect Johansson, though, to drop out if he plays it against Birmingham. It's hard to call, but he will probably rotate, won't
he? Yeah, it's nice problems to have that you've got that much.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's gone by, it's been, well, this is your 11, and there's nothing else below it. We have got a few options this year.
Oh, massively. It feels so different. Obviously, we've got a graphic that comes up on these shows where it tells you the potential starting 11, and I literally don't even sometimes know what to put on there because he can change it around, and it doesn't weaken the team either. You've got Roberts, Willock, haven't even played the last couple of matches, and we've still been winning. That's not very QPR-esque to have so many good options across the team. And like we talked about most weeks, Dickey, he's been first name on the team sheet for 2 years, and now he's having to come off the bench.
Yeah, you got Roberts to come back as well. He's missed the last couple, hasn't he? There's a lot of shot choice there.
Overall, then, looking at these 2 games, are you maybe hoping for 3 or 4 points?
I think 4 points would be great if they can get them. But I think whatever happens, you just can't get too down if they struggle in these 2 because these are 2 tough away games. We've done really well away from home. You can't expect to keep winning away from home as we have done. They are going to drop points eventually away. So if they can get 4 points, I think that's a fantastic return.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we saw last week we only got 1 win out of 2. We lost at Luton, beat Cardiff, and we actually took us up to the top of the table. So I don't even think 3 points here is that bad. If we can win 1, lose 1, it's better than 2 draws, isn't it? I suppose. Just try and get a win at Birmingham as well. And I think that would take. You can play Norwich with freedom, then, can't you? You've already got 3 points under your belt. Fingers crossed we get that scenario. And the World Cup is coming around really fast now. After these 2 matches, we only have 3 games left before the 3-week break. 3 matches. Before the 4-week break. We'll be previewing West Brom and the rearranged Huddersfield match next week. In the meantime, get on our QPR forum if you can, share your views, it's all free, and come on your arse.
We know who we are. You know who we are. We are QPR.